In business, especially in the entertainment business, and especially in the sports entertainment business, there are what you call choke points. These are the things that you can't live without. You must have content, because if you don't have content, you're not selling anything. If I don't have any wrestlers, if I don't have a show, if I don't have a presentation, there's nothing for you all to come to. You must have finance. If I can't afford the ring, the insurance, the building, the wrestlers, the referee, the ropes, everything, and there's no show that I can put on. Now, once you have content, once you have finance, you must have distribution. If I don't have distribution, there's no way for you to see my product. I lost distribution. So did WCW at right around the very same time. WCW had finance, they had no distribution. Their content was ours was not. When you all get to meet Eric Bischoff, tell him I said so. Once you lose distribution, you're dead. We were dead. That was it. It was over. I wish it wasn't, but it was, and there was nothing I could have done to change that. The industry in cable television in the United States was consolidating at the time, and the general consensus was there was only one real game in town, which was WWE, which was right in the middle of the Stone Cold and Rock era, and that was it. I mean, we were dead. We were dead in the water, and there was nothing we could have done about it. Have to have the balls to do what you know in your heart is right for business. And sometimes that means you put your job on the line. When you do something like what I did at ECW One Night Stand, you just have to know in your heart it's going to work. It's going to be spectacular. That people are going to be talking about you the next day. If you do that, and it works, there's nothing they can say to you. If you do it and it flops, you are actually out of a job. But nobody rises to the top. Nobody becomes main event. Nobody achieves status unless you're willing to take that risk. That risk is everything. You have to know in your heart what the crowd wants, and you have to play off the crowd, give them what they want, not what the guys behind the curtain want. The guys behind the curtains think they're making the decisions, but they're not. You make the decisions. You tell them what's working. So when I have a live microphone in my hand, in case you haven't noticed yet, I kind of do what the I want to do. And I did on that night, and there was nothing for them to say because it worked. If I bombed, I was dead in the water. I would have been shown the door. I would have been fired before the end of the show, but it didn't bomb. It worked. So I wasn't afraid, and I wasn't afraid to do it. I've never been afraid with a microphone in my hand. I'm afraid of a lot of things. I'm afraid just of the whole driving concept here, because I don't know if you guys know this. You guys are driving on the wrong side of the road. And I know if you come to America, you think we're driving on the wrong side of the road, but we're not. You guys are up every day. You're on the wrong side of the road. So that scares the out of me. Just driving here from Manchester, oh God, they're coming at us, you know. That's everything. See, some of the food here scares the out of me too. And though there are a lot of pretty ladies here in Glasgow, man, the women in Manchester will scare the out of you too. Those things scare me. Put a microphone in my hand, I'm a fearless man. I just have no fear whatsoever because I kind of have a rhythm with the audience, and I will figure out what they want, and no matter what I have to do, including stage diving on this guy right here, I will give the audience what they want because that's what I do for a living. I was long gone from WWE when I started talking to TNA, and they had been trying to reach me from the time I left WWE, and I really had no interest in being back in the industry. Finally, after so many phone calls and so many emails and so many DMs on Twitter, Bubba Ray Dudley and Taz and Tommy Dreamer came to me and said, just talk to them. Hear what they have to say. My concept with TNA was the Dana White concept with UFC. Give me the ball and let me run with it. And if I fail, I fail. And if I don't, I don't. But you're going to have to let me take a stab at this. Over, not like New Jack stabs white people, but let me take a try at this. WWE had all these legends, all these Hall of Famers. They had an established product. They had a certain way. I was going to take TNA in a completely different direction. And unfortunately for a lot of friends of mine, that direction meant get rid of all the legends, make it a young guys promotion. At the time also, WWE had fired Daniel Bryan. And my protege in ECW, who now runs the company called Evolve, Gabe Sapolsky was very tight with Daniel Bryan because he gave Daniel Bryan his first big break. So one of my plans was to bring Daniel Bryan into TNA at the time, and he was quite willing to do so, as he wrote in his own book. And the whole concept was going to be build it around the young guys, build it around a more MMA style, just give it a completely different feel than the WWE light product that they were presenting back in 2010 and 2011, which is when I ended up talking with them. They didn't want to get rid of the old guys. They just didn't. Sorry, we don't want to do it. They had Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, no knock on Eric Bischoff this time. They had Sting, they had Mick Foley, they had Ric Flair, they had Kevin Nash, they had the Dudley Boys, they had Rob Van Dam, they had Jeff Hardy. They had 10 people who were considered legends. And how can you build around the young guys when you're giving all this TV time to people who, and I wasn't going to be on TV either, by the way. That wasn't part of my plan because I was over 40 and I didn't want to be on television anymore. That was it. It had to be young guys, had to be a young crew, had to be new upcoming guys, and one or two people like Daniel Bryan who had established their name already, but still, he hadn't really exploded on the scene yet. He was still considered a new guy, a young guy. And they didn't want to do it. They couldn't grasp the concept that these legends, one by one, would all leave them at some point. And they just figured, no, but we have them, and why would we want to get rid of them? Because the public's not buying your product, so let's sell them a different product. And they just wouldn't do it. And I wasn't willing to compromise what I believed was going to work because I wasn't going to come back into this industry and fail. It wasn't, I already felt that I had failed with the new ECW. I couldn't stop WWE from doing to the legacy of that brand what they did to the legacy of that brand. I felt that I hoard out the legacy of the brand and myself by performing on that television show, because what they did to the name of ECW was terrible to me, and it was a nightmare to me, and I didn't want to relive it by getting back into the business only to fail again. So they wouldn't get rid of the legends. I don't want to say the old guys, because I'm an old guy now, and I don't want people to get rid of me because I'm old. So, but if you want to get rid of me because I'm a legend, go right. Hey, you're a legend. Oh, I feel so much better. Thank you. But they wouldn't get rid of the legends, and at the end of the day, I knew it wasn't going to work, and I just didn't do it.